You know, we've all heard stories of NHL history of emergency call-ups for different reasons, both seen and unseen. But this case is quite interesting because he was called to the NHL to replace Jacques Plante for a game, and eventually won his only start with the Montreal Canadiens. So today we're going to be talking about the curious case of the very talented hockey player Andre Binette, now born December 2nd, 1933 in Montreal. Again, only played one game with the Habs. Now this was in 1954-55. He was called upon to replace Jacques Plante. At the time, teams would have an occasional backup. He had played a few games that year with the Shawinigan Falls Cadillacs of the QHL. According to published reports, Plante was injured in the pregame warm-up, and he was called upon to, again, replace the Hall of Famer. Now, he gave up 4 goals in 60 minutes, again, with saving 85% of his shots in that game. Now, what's kind of weird about Binette, he really was a good prospect, but eventually, that was his main claim to fame. Now, he played with the Toyota Reds of the QPJHL in 54. And then later on with the Clinton Comets, the Troy Bruins, and the Toledo Mercuries of the EHL and IHL respectively. His time with Toledo Mercuries of IHL was quite strong. He had 46 games in 58. Now he last came to what he called the major prominence in 1963 with the Montreal Olympics of the QAPHL. Now, what's kind of bizarre here, ladies and gentlemen, his legend grew and grew, and everybody knew that Binette was called up. And when he passed away, it kind of made major news in Quebec, because how he passed away was, of course, kind of celebrating what he called, recreational activity. He was enjoying a tennis game with his son when he took a heart attack and died from it. And in some of the published reports, basically it brought back the fact that, he replaced Jacques Plante. To my knowledge, ladies and gentlemen, that's the only time that Plante was taken out because of an injury in pregame warm-up. Usually what happens, besides the Michel Larocque situation 79, very rarely that a Montreal Canadiens warm-up will lead to injuries for the goaltenders. But Andre, again, I've heard through published reports, he was a good talent, and any player that plays in AHL, he's going to be good. He would have played maybe a few more games, but sometimes your career takes you all over the place. I know for a fact that the Troy Bruins of the IHL had quite a following at the time. So it's by the way, just a reminder, talking about the Troy Bruins here. I'm just going to call up the stats very quickly. Brian Kilray played with that squad for a little while. That's why it rang a bell for me. And everybody knows Brian Kilray is one of the most important hockey minds in Canadian history. As you know, he's coached forever, majority for the Ottawa 67s, 4-time OHA Coach of the Year. And Brian played his first NHL game with Detroit in 58, and then back in the NHL for another 10 years. He played against Springfield Indians for most of the 60s before getting back with the Kings in 68. So Binette, Brian Kilray, again, a connection that's, to me, it's quite interesting, because you never know how hockey is connected. One of the greatest coaches ever, with a kind of a one-night hero for the Canadiens. So ladies and gentlemen, we like what we're doing here with our vintage podcast. Give us a like, comment, and subscribe. And if there's any one-game wonders you'd like me to do stories on, please let me know. I know some of them, but not all of them. Have a good day. Bye.